Good evening, everyone. Hello, everyone, and welcome to round 10 of the season here with Invictus Racing League. I'm Jack TM53, your commentator for this evening. I'm delighted to say that returning in the commentary box with me today is Xerox. I think he's just muted his mic for the time being. I think he's been caught otherwise unawares, so he'll be back shortly, which I'm glad to have Xerox back in the chat. But we are today racing in the Hungary ring at Hungary, not far away from the main capital city of Budapest. And it's playing host to the third to last race of the season. There's a lot of stuff on the line in terms of the championship. Both drivers and constructors are very close together. I'm looking forward to seeing how the drivers get on around this 2.722 mile circuit, 14 corners for the drivers to navigate. So let's see how they do. Hello to everybody in the chat. Clips has got some support from Maras. Blackside, hello to you. Hi, Mikey. Good to see you. JP as well. Wish you good luck to everybody. Obviously, he's racing in the Mercedes. And I'm just hoping, Xerox, are you back?
Yes, I'm back. I'm just trying to get the stream in the background.
Yeah, fair enough.
And before we go into the standings, I just wanted to let everybody know it's a little bit of a milestone, a little bit of a special day today. The Invictus Racing League YouTube channel has just surpassed 1,200 subscribers, so if you guys have been here as longtime subscribers, we thank you very much. It's been 7 years and 18 seasons. I almost said 19. And the league has come a long way. I know I haven't been here that long, but I know some of the people in the chat have, and some of the people in the lobby have as well. And it's definitely come a long way, and this community is still building up to be what it is today. So hopefully that'll be a little bit of word of encouragement for today's racers for being such a special day for the league. And going into the standings after round 9, Ferrari holds P1 in the constructors at 164, with Aston Martin sitting at 155. So that's going to be a close fight between Ferrari and Aston Martin as a constructor race. Mercedes sitting back in P3 for 99 points ahead of Alpine at 96. So that's going to be a P3 fight for constructors between Alpine and Mercedes. And then the driver standings, it's 21 points deficit between Ivan and Lucas. And Ivan is into the lobby. He'll join into the lobby. So there's going to be a great fight there. And then JP9 against Ruddo for that P3 spot. So once again, another P3 fight, which I believe they're both in the lobby as well. So there's going to be some fights to be taking a look at today. Their fight is going to be between them 2 points, 76 points from JP9 and 74 points at Ruddo. So very close racing today as we're 3 weeks to go, like you were saying. So we're getting some other drivers in before the race starts.
Whilst they're getting ready and everyone's getting set up, Xerox, apparently you're a little bit quiet on the mic. I don't know if you just need to move it closer or anything like that. I've got you dialed up to 11, so it's as loud as it can be on my end.
All right, yeah, I muted my mic and moved it,
better.
so I didn't want to move it with the microphone on. So
Yeah.
drivers are getting readying up. I know it's I can hear the echo on your end, but I don't know about the stream.
I don't think the stream's picking it up by the sounds of it. Let me just have.
It happens. It happened. I believe it was 2 races ago or so that happened. But we'll I'll make the I'll make the best of it.
No, it's not coming through on the stream. I just had a little check of it then, so we're all good. So hopefully that echo doesn't put you off too much whilst we're
No,
commentating around here.
it's just
But we are going into short qualifying, 18 minutes for everybody, of course, to set their lap time. Should be plenty of time for drivers to set 3 laps if they want to. We know that tyre choices at a premium around here. Some people deciding to use the medium Pirelli compound tyres to start on last night. Some decided on the softs. There was one or two who braved it out on the hards, but it turned out that they weren't really necessary unless there was an early safety car, which inevitably there ended up being. But this track, lots of history, of course. The first circuit that was sort of behind the Iron Curtain opened in 1985, first race in 86. And its current layout has been here for, 21 years this year. The old layout, I don't know if you remember this, Xerox, but it used to have a much more progressive right-hand turn. It used to dip down. Now it's a lot sharper in today's race. And yeah, turn 1, it was a lot longer and a lot more of a dip down compared to how it used to be. Well, it is now, I mean.
when did they update that? Because I remember driving it in F119.
2003.
Okay, so it was way back then.
Way back, yeah. So many, many moons and years ago when I was still in primary school. Although if you're American elementary school, it would be not primary. But just having a little look and see if we've got any updates on the weather. I've got my pit lane report saying it's going to be a dry race. So
That's how it was yesterday.
yeah, which is a shame because I would have banked on either Hungary or Brazil being the 2 wet races from the last 3 rounds of the season, but it won't be Hungary, unfortunately. I was really hoping for a wet race.
LDR Gamer first out on the mediums. That's going to be the Mercedes at JP9 out second, and then Joe in the McLaren out third. And as these guys are warming up for their lap, kind of reflecting on yesterday, even though they say that there's not going to be any rain, the safety cars will drag out the race to a possible wet race towards the end, but we'll have to wait and see how it went or goes today compared to yesterday, because I believe we had 2 full safety cars, or is
I
it
believe
3?
I believe it was 2 or 3, wasn't it, off the top of my head. But we have got LDR Gamer out on track. He's on the medium compound tyre, and he's coming towards now turns 13. This really awkward left-hander where you've got to avoid the camber mid-corner. I'm riding on board with him. And Xerox, do you want to run us through a lap of the Hungaroring?
Yeah, you're going to be coming out of that final corner. You don't want to put too much power down, otherwise you spin out. You get caught on that grass, you could also spin out as well. Flat to the floor, with DRS open. I believe that's about 75 or so, hitting on the brakes. A little bit of a snap oversteer from LDR Gaming here as we're coming down through sector 1. This left-hander for me is a hard braking zone where if you don't get it right, you lose a lot of time. Then flat to the floor as you come out of that right-hander. This left-hander, very tricky. You drop about a gear. You have to let off the gas or hit the brakes a little bit, just enough not to go over that curb. You can invalidate if you put too much power down. And then the chicane, that left and right-hander, too much curb on either the entry or exit, you will spin the car out of the chicane. That fast right-hander coming through the left-hander, and then another right-hander through to the start of sector 3, another flat to the floor, and then you drop about 3 or 4 gears, kind of get away with 3 if you can, back to this left-hander before the end of the sector 3, and then that dotted line there for the pit entry, very tricky, very split-second decision to come through into the pits. If you need to, DRS open across the line, and that banker lap at a 1:16.9. Next up is going to be JP9 coming around on his set of softs to see what kind of improvement there is between the softs and mediums.
That's a good lap from LDR Gamer, actually, to be honest. A 16.9 is very competitive in terms of lap time. As you can see, JP only a tenth faster, so really impressive from the AlphaTauri. Joe slotting in the middle of that. Who else is next coming around the next corner, the final corner? It's Zolf. Good to see him in from this evening. That's an 18.5. Another Aston Martin. I'm assuming it's Vasek. Yeah, that's more like it from Vasek. A 16-1. The man who's been on form in qualifying recently, this guy, has put it himself right to the front. There's Kent. There's a Ferrari in the background. I'm going to assume it's Ivan starting a lap. And who is that? He's just
Lucas
Eds up to
Blaha
second.
in Sector 2. He's marked as a set of softs, but he's using inters.
No, he's definitely looking like he's on intermediates. Yeah,
On my
so
screen, it's showing softs, so I don't know what's going on there.
that's very odd. There's one of F123's glitches going on there. One of the Red Bulls just going across the line. That was Clips, who's got support in the chat. Both Ferraris now on their flying laps. I'm just curious to see what Lucas does on a set of intermediates. It's a 21.7. What a shock that is.
He came across the line and it updated for me, so I don't know where that bug is coming from. But we are towards the end of the life cycle for F123. Just a couple more weeks before F124 comes out, and that means all of our drivers, literally at the end of the season, who are going to be competing next season, will be getting on F124.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of looking forward to the new updates to the setups.
Well, I do hope that the game's a marked improvement in terms of online capability. There's been so many issues with F123, unfortunately, when it comes to online services. I'm just watching Ivan as he goes around the final corner. It's a 16-2, puts him on the front row. It's a really good effort from one of the two championship protagonists. We've got Ruddo coming up next. But as I was saying, yeah, they need to just sort the online services out. I think that's the big issue at the moment in the F1 community. Some updates to driver career would be quite nice to have a play about with. I'm going to buy F124. I'm looking forward to playing it for sure. Oh, Zolf has crashed out on the exit of turn 1.
Turn 1.
Yeah, Ruddo's just gone P3. I'm just going to ride on board with him.
What happened here? And his car's already gone, so I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I think he's hit the wall on the inside. We saw Jovi, who won in Tier 3 yesterday, we saw him spin out on the exit of turn 1. I've just had to pause myself for a moment because Kerr's got a broken front wing. I don't know where he's done that, but completely disappeared. Shorn from its instruments. The number 73 car going back into the pits. A couple of drivers giving support for Ruddo as well, notably his brother, as well as giving some support for Ruddo, who's in third position.
Alpine abandoning a lap 2.
Wonder what happened with Jiri there. I wonder if he just run out of fuel. I wonder if that might have been the issue for him. Just looking if anyone else is... Yeah, a couple of drivers just on and out lap. So it's gone a little bit quiet with 11 minutes and 12 seconds to go in this session. It's just died down a little bit. But Hungary has this opportunity because it's quite a short circuit in terms of lap time. The drivers have got themselves a chance to give themselves a few moments, reset themselves and go again for another lap time. But as we saw yesterday, some drivers don't get it all hooked up after their second and third runs. Some of them can do it in the second run, some of them can only do it in the third one. It's a track that demands accuracy, wouldn't you agree, Xerox?
Yeah, when I made my run yesterday, I was one of the early runners, so I got P2, but I wasn't able to I backed out of my second and third runs. So you have to make sure that if you do end up backing out, that every run that you make counts. And I just wanted to make a point out that Ivan and Ruddo, currently P2, P3, putting up a great fight here in qualifying for that championship. Lucas is out on an out lap, and he needs to get up there with his teammate. Front row lockout would be nice for the Aston Martins, but the race is a different story.
It is. They did that in Italy as well, didn't they, when Vasek and Lucas were P1 and 2, so it's not unknown to them that they can pull that type of performance off. We're just following Joe at the moment. He's one of two drivers, including LDL Gamer, who's on a lap. Looks like Joe was 2 tenths down according to the first sector time. Sector 2 doesn't come up, the timing beam doesn't come up until the exit of turn 11. We're going through turn 9, then it's turn 10, the left-hander here, and then turn right. Really challenging right-hander. Joe hooks the car over the inside of the curb, and he's 4 tenths down, but I reckon he's abandoned that lap, and yeah, he's not using any battery, so that says it all. LDR Gamer, though, is committed. And that's 7 tenths of an improvement. So we'll see the AlphaTauri shoot up the order. This could be pole position. Don't forget, LDR Gamer set his first lap time on the medium compound tyres, the yellow-walled Pirellis. And this has been a really solid end to the lap. He's just got to get this final corner right. He's a bit wide, but he might just get away with it. It is P1 from LDR Gamer. That's a fabulous effort. The AlphaTauri at the front of the field.
Yeah, and Lucas Blaha is coming through the start of Sector 2 for his run on soft tires.
According to the Delta, he's 1.2 up, but he was on intermediates.
Okay, I wasn't sure there for a second. But yeah, that chicane, very rough if you don't go through it properly. And I don't know if anybody else is on a lap ahead of him.
Oh, Kent was, and that's P1 from Kent. Wow, where's that come from?
9.
Well, that's the type of performance we've seen from Kent in seasons gone by. That's a really tidy effort from the McLaren driver, but we're obviously watching Lucas. Let's see what he does.
That's going to be P3 next to his teammate for a second row start. Just under 8 minutes to go.
Still plenty of time, isn't there, remaining in this qualifying session. Joe, that's more like
Joe
it. So
P3,
P3.
yeah.
So we got 2 McLarens in the top 3, and then they go 2 by 2 between the Aston Martins and the Ferraris together.
Across the line, only for P12.
It's still close though, isn't it? It's only
It
a
is very
second,
close.
yeah.
It's been close here in Tier 2 all season. I still remember.
Yeah.
I still remember Portimao. The last few laps there, it was. We did see that a couple races ago, didn't we?
Yeah, I remember Monaco being quite close.
I wasn't there. I was fishing in.
You were fishing
the marina.
off the harbour.
In the rain.
Vasek, though, coming towards the line. That's a 16 flat, so the Aston Martin moves onto the second row of the grid. One of the Red Bulls, I'm going to say it's Kerr, is just going through Sector 2. Clip's going onto his flying lap. I want to see what Jiri does, because he's the only driver yet to set a lap time, and Zolf's effort is not representative after he stuffed it in the wall at turn 1. And Ivan does a 15.8.
Yeah, Cuz on a cooldown lap, and then Jiri Clement went pretty well through that chicane, coming around that final straight before the last few corners. Zolf retires. Well, he did retire earlier, but
And he's left the session, yeah.
I've left and joined the party.
Well, that's the wrong button, I'm guessing.
Well, can I have an invite, please?
We'll get you an invite. No
Jiri goes P2 whilst Zolf causes chaos in the area. I'll try.
Box.
Do you reckon Xerox should be able to add Zolf as a friend and then invite him that way?
I am on the app.
Request.
Yeah, whether that's easier. I'll try. I'll tell you what. Sorry for everybody. I will try and do it through the stream. Apologies for the lack of action. I'll try and do it that way.
Whoopsie daisy.
That's fine. I can do it through here. Xerox, we're going to have to go radio program. Tell us what's going on.
All right. Let's see. We have a Ferrari that is on an. No, that is Ivan coming into the pits. LDR Gamer is back on an outlap. He's coming around the last few corners. I don't know if that is in the set sauce. It probably is. And he's going to be starting that hot lap there. We have a Mercedes of a JP9. I don't know if he's on a hot lap right now. I'm going to double check as the AlphaTauri restarts, and I believe he is on a hot lap. Looking for an improvement from that 1:16.8. Coming around these final few corners here in Sector 3. That long left-hander before the pit entry. In that final corner. And does pretty well coming out of that corner, putting the power down.
Lovely stuff, lads. Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye, Zolf. So Zolf is now back in, and JP's up to 8th. That was. Thank you for the radio show for a moment there, Xerox. It was well appreciated.
Yeah. Let's just hope we can see Zolf back in here again at the end of the race on that podium.
That was fantastic. Well, we've got LDR Gamer out on track. He's one of the first to go out for one of his final runs. I don't blame him. He gets no traffic on his lap. I'm watching him through the turn 11 corner. He's going to approach turn 12. He's a 10th down at the moment, but I feel that there's a little bit more time from LDR Gamer. It's just whether he can hook up that final couple of corners in third gear, a little bit of a slide. And I had a feeling he's got time to go back in the pits, which is what he's doing. And he's going to go for it again. Kent, is he on a flying lap? Doesn't look like he's used any battery down the main straight there. He is. Yeah, he's pushing flat out, but I don't know if he's using any battery. Can you see that Xerox on his head-up display? Oh no, now he's backed out of it. I wonder if he was doing something else there. It seemed a bit strange. As I was saying before, Ren's just commenting about track evolution and also greetings. Yeah, track evolution does ramp up around the Hungary ring. It's certainly a big factor around here. But who knows? We've got 3 minutes left and the drivers are now starting to come out for another go. And JP's one of those.
Yeah, I started commentating about Kent on his hot lap because I'm seeing that he's still sitting at 100% battery. And then I realized my microphone was muted, so I wasn't sure if he was setting up banker and then waiting to use the battery on a second run.
I wonder if he's just going to sort of take Joe around the course. I wonder if
he's starting to use the battery there through the last few corners.
It looks like, I think the McLarens are running in formation. If you look, Joe and Kent are right together. I wonder if he's going to give Joe a toe into turn 1 and pull out the way. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Giving Joe a little bit of an advantage to try and get up through the field, so... Or rather, Joe gives Kent swept them around there.
Because they need that for the championship, because how Ferrari was towards the beginning. Aston Martin running as well. Vasek P5, Lucas P7. Everybody else out on an outlap.
Well, that toe's giving Kent a bit of an advantage. He's 400ths up at the moment, but I think he's just invalidated his lap. Could be wrong, but I think he's got a red sector time here.
Kent has an invalidated.
Whoa, JP! That's more like it.
1:15.84 for JP, 200ths of a second. And there's a... Okay, I did not see that.
Well, Ed's lap is ruined, but Jiri pulled over to the left-hand side on the exit of turn number... I would say it looks like it was turn number 5. And then he's just running to the back of Jiri. A bit of an awkward one, that, for everyone. But Kent's going to go again. There's still a yellow flag out there. I'm not really sure why JP, I think it is, he's just doing about 40 miles an hour, which doesn't help anybody. But we are in the last minute of this session. We are trying to keep up on top of where everyone is, which is quite difficult to do at the moment.
It is. The McLarens are running again. I don't know if they're on a cooldown or a hot lap.
I think they're both on a flying lap.
Yeah, because Joe's running battery and he's coming through. And then Kent is tailing behind. He's not close enough to be using the toe properly. He may be able to, through the end of Sector 2, start at Sector 3. But he does have a red marker on the fuel. He's going to utilize the checkered flag for the remainder of the fuel, so he doesn't have to worry about coming back in the pits, unless that's him backing out there now on the low fuel mode.
Good effort from Clips, puts himself into the 16-1s, into 9th position. A little further back, next car that's going to come across the line for his final lap is Joe. Currently in 7th place. The McLaren team needs some points. They're quite far down the order in the Constructors' Championship. I think they're 8th at the moment. But Joe, that's more like it. Up into P2 on the front row of the grid. Next up is one of the Aston Martins. That's Lucas. Only 4th behind his championship rival. What about his teammate? Only 7th. Dare I say it, I expected a little bit more. LDR Gamer now around the final corner. No improvement from him. Ruddo, what can he do? Stays 10th at the moment.
Ka is on a hot lap. He's going to be the final one to cross the line. Cliff Scary ended up going into the runoff, so he wasn't able to...
Jerry! What a time! 15.5.
3/10 of a second out of nowhere on the final run of
Wow.
qualifying here.
That's
We're looking to see an
mightily.
improvement from Ka. Let's see where he ends up. He's coming around the last two left-handers. Kent and JP9 are into the pits, and that's going to be an abandoned run from Ka. So he's going to be sitting back in P13.
Oh, and Eclipse almost getting that wrong into the pit lane. But Jiri,
We
pole
did have that
position.
situation. Yeah, we did have that situation yesterday where one of the drivers lost their front wing and they missed the pit lane. So, and then they stopped in the middle of the track to get into the pit lane. So that's going to be a big penalty for them. Hopefully we won't have to see that today, but that's going to be our order. We got Jerry Clement in the Alpine for P1, JP9 in the Mercedes P2, Joe Hamster P3, Ivan Belov P4, Lucas Blaha, Kent, Basek, LDR Gamer, Clips Kiri, Ruddo, Ads Lucas, Ed Asmanek, who retired early in Sector 1, Turn 1, Ka, who was unable to improve their time on their final run, then Arrow Zolf in P14.
Well, that is a surprise pole position from Jiri. I've seen a few times this season he's had some good pace and has certainly shown that he can fight near the front, but to have outright pole position by almost 3/10 of a second is very, very impressive from the Alpine. And considering that Ocon, spoiler alert, scored Alpine's first points of the season last weekend at Miami, then I suppose that's a welcome boost for the team. A whole grid, well, I say the whole grid, from 1st to 12th, represented by 9/10 of a second. Ed Asmanet, though, because of the weird incident that happened in qualifying, he will actually start 14th. Kerr, I don't think, has set a representative lap time. I think he can go a little bit faster than that. Zolf as well can certainly go a lot quicker. I've seen him drive faster than that before, but that's a very close grid. It's all going to come down to strategy now, really, isn't it, Xerox?
Yeah, the top 10 is definitely going to be a big fight. Ferrari and Aston Martin, the Mercedes and Alpine. Jiri Clement starting in P1 for the Alpine team. If Ads Lucas can get up into a decent point scoring position, then they could oversee Mercedes. And I believe it's just, is it just AP9 here for Mercedes, or is it?
I believe so, yeah.
So it's going to be a 2v1 situation for P3 and the constructors. No clear winner as of yet for both. And we're going to have to wait for the drivers to make sure that they get their race strategies. I originally went for a two-stop strategy yesterday, I believe, in the hopes of a safety car, which did happen. Hopefully we won't see any safety car drive-through mistakes like I did yesterday. I learned that the hard way.
Yeah, I mean, I learned that the hard way in terms of not being able to finish the race. So, in terms of performance with the tyres, I can tell you that the mediums are expected to last around 20 laps. They can go a little bit longer than that, but the performance will really go out. Mediums, it depends what type of setup you're running with the mediums. The tyre wear around here, because it's a low-speed circuit, outside of maybe turn 4 and the second sector, so you're looking at turns 10, turn 9. There aren't really many fast corners around the circuit, so tyre wear isn't really going to be too much of an issue. What tyres did you start on, Xerox, with your two-stop?
I believe I gotta look back at the recording. I believe I started on the hard tires expecting a run to the safety car. I just hopped into Joe's chat and said good luck to him. He's our league director as of, I don't know when he was given that position, but
Many
he's looking
moons
for a
and
good
years
race
ago.
today.
Yeah, he'll want a good race because Joe, in this season, he's again demonstrated some strong pace at times and has been very sort of hit and miss in terms of performance whenever he's been on in terms of his availability. You know, he's 15th in the championship. He's on 22 points. He is more than capable of getting better points and a better driver's standing than where he is at the moment. So I'm expecting Joe to really put in a performance tonight, even though he typically always says that don't expect much. So let's see how he does. I think there's going to be a split between the three tyres, in all truth. I mean, I do believe that someone will go for the soft at the start, even though I don't think that's wise, but that sets them up for a two-stop, so maybe it will pay off later. The rest will either be medium or hard tyre. I reckon one or two will chance the hard tyre, but we will see in a moment. We've got the Alpine on the right-hand side and the Mercedes on the left. And the race is live from the Hungaro ring. It's a good start off the front row from Jiri. He's going to be comfortable into turn one, but we've got three wide as they approach the first corner. Late on the brakes, Joe Hamster going round the outside. Wheel-to-wheel contact between the Mercedes and the Ferrari and the McLaren. They've just about survived. Vasek is off the road and round. Kent is trying to fight his way through. Ivan and Joe have made more contact midway through the corner. Ivan's still there. We're following on board with Joe, and he goes through by the slimmest of margins. They've just about got through unscathed, the front leaders. But what a dramatic start here at Hungary.
That's how it was yesterday. I was on board with Lucas Blaha in an overhead view, and I don't know who was on the inside, but he ended up coming in contact with his teammate, pushing him back to P14 after that, with that 3 migrating host. I don't know if LDR Gamer has disconnected. I will see about getting them back in here. That way we don't have to restart the lobby.
We've got two cars inside one another here as they head hurtle towards turn 12. And there's more desync going on. I think there's been an issue
and the McLaren,
with the lobby. It looks like there's all sorts of carnage going on at the back. I mean, you've got the red, but Kent has got no front wing. He's coming in. There's Ad Lucas going in. Something very odd has just happened there. We're trying to just figure out what's going on at the moment. Xerox, I don't know if there's any comments being made in the driver's room about what's going on, because it looks a little bit... I
haven't heard anything, Jack.
No.
Oh, that's you. No.
That is me.
I'm thinking somebody else. I was looking at LDR Gamer. I did send him an invite to try to get him back in here, but it seems like he is still...
He's still a ghost at the moment. The drivers are following them round.
Lorenz... Paranormal Activity remake looking bad in the chat.
I mean, other films are available, but that one wasn't really good to start with. But out in front, well, these two won't have even known about all the chaos behind them. Jiri and JP9 leading the way on the mediums. They got 1.3 to Ivan, and then because of the carnage of what had gone on with the ghost in behind, Clips is now 2.5 seconds as he runs over track limits at turn 11, one of the key areas on the track where that's going to happen. In front of the ghosted LDR game, you got Kerr, then you got Joe, the first of the hard tyre runners, pursued by Lucas Blaha on those soft compound tyres, which will more than likely be way faster at the moment. And that is another Red Bull in the pits. It's Clips Curry. So I wonder if Clips got damage as well. Just having a look. I'm going to have a look at that shortly to see if he does. Lucas, though, trying to make his moves early on. He's got the battery going. Both drivers are using all of the deployment available. Lucas brakes a little bit late. He's got more grip on those red-walled Pirellis. He goes through and up into 6th position. Zolf up in 8th place. A good start from him. He's up 6 places. Ruddo's in 9th, and that's a swap between LDR and Kerr, but that's the ghost of Hungaro rings past. He's just overtaken. Ed Asmanek in 10th place, and then Vasek, the first of the early pit stoppers, down in 11th position. Well, actually, I say pit stoppers. He didn't pit, did he? He got spun round.
We have a yellow there in Sector 2. I don't know where that's coming from. Word from LDR Gamer, our race admin. He, apparently his power cut off.
Yeah.
In his neighborhood, so I don't know if we'll be able to get him back for the remainder of the race.
One of those times, I'm sure LDR wishes he had a diesel generator to get things going, but not to worry. I'm sure he'll get back in by lap 30. Who knows? Oh, there's a yellow flag out in Sector 2. Is Vasek... No, nothing in particular. That's where the yellow flag was. So just something peculiar is going on with this session so far. We're on lap 4. But outside of the Ghost of Hungaroring past, we do have the front two pulling away from Ivan, actually. I'm surprised. I thought the soft tyre would be stronger at this early stage of the race, but clearly not. And I think Ivan's just disconnected because he's ghosted.
I will.
And then there's something very bizarre going on in this lobby.
It's because of the host migration.
Yeah, and I wonder if we're going to have a restart here because this doesn't seem quite right to me. I could see that.
Well, we only had LDR Gamer disconnected. It's not enough people to restart the lobby.
It isn't, but drivers are going through one another. And now Kurt is dropping places, and there's a safety car. And I think we are getting a restart here.
Yeah, we're getting an admin to just.
Yeah, we are going to get a restart, and I'm not surprised. I know that.
All right. So where are we calling the restart then? I'm going to take a screenshot of the standings as of right now. I don't know when, or we'll just have to do a starting grid restart.
Yeah, we will have to. We will have to do that, and I think it's the right call, isn't it? Because we can restart. We've only done 4 laps really at racing speed, yep. So we will have a
from
the director, yeah.
And we are 5 laps in, so I don't know if that will I don't know if that will change us to the 35% race distance.
No, I think because we've only done 5 laps, it'll get reset, and we'll go for the full 100 again.
Yeah. Alright, so if you haven't already, if you guys are in the lobby, go ahead and disconnect and the admins will send out invites once again. And we haven't had any technical difficulties for a while here in Tier 2. But it's a little sneak peek of how our pace is going to run. Hopefully we'll have a better start after the restart. And I was looking forward to seeing that Mercedes fight the Alpine between JP9 and I forget who it was already.
We've barely been a few minutes, Xerox, since we started.
Yeah.
But we are having a restart, so we'll wait to see what the next steps are. You can see a couple of flags flying, but realistically, when it says it on your front screens at the moment that LDR Gamer finished 16 seconds behind Joe Hamster for the race victory, you know that something's gone horribly, horribly wrong. I'm going to have to... Yeah, that's a bit awkward for me, actually. Because obviously I'm stuck in the menu, and I can't leave. Which is kind of like paranormal activity, isn't it, really, when we come back to that?
Oh, you're stuck in the menu with the timer.
Yeah, I can't get out until I get an invite to get me out. So whilst you see all of that, we will wait, and we'll just be patient as we can be. Whilst we get...
Oh, no, Curry in the driver room with Ka, end of lap 1, P12 to P2. Wildest lap I've ever seen from the American driver here in Tier 2. Clips Carries like, whatever you did, repeat it and do it again. And I believe we are restarting full.
Well, one thing as well, so everybody's aware whilst you're watching in the chat, because we've only conducted 5 laps and the desynchronization issue happened very early. We will be starting the grid based off of their qualifying times, so that'll mean the drivers need to go back through where they qualify, double check why they qualified, and we'll get the grid lined up correctly. And hopefully we won't have any further issues. If LDR Gamer's power grid has completely gone off and his diesel generator's backed up, then we're going to have a different host who hopefully then won't have any power cut issues in their area.
JP9 in the driver's room. I personally had no issues for once. He's known to have issues throughout a race or outside of his control, such as power outages and etc. But this time it's LDR Gamer, not JP9. He may have brushed his bad luck off to somebody else in the league.
Yeah, there's a lot of good humour going on in the drivers' room at the moment. So we are still, of course, just waiting for the new lobby to be updated and sent through for everybody.
You could have me host the lobby, and you guys all be at a disadvantage. The only person with the advantage would be Ka.
Yeah, I mean that's a pure opportunity to cause more chaos there, Xerox. Let's not do that. Considering that I think out of the grid tonight, 13 of the drivers are European.
Yeah, I think the worst that I've seen so far this season. What was it?
Monaco.
I didn't really see much in Monaco from what I've
during
seen.
During the race in Tier 3 is what I'm thinking, because we had a whole desync issue where 6 drivers remained and everybody all had other issues going on, yeah.
Where they made the decision to remove the formation map. Hopefully that will be fixed next game.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The online connectivity really does need to be the massive focal point for Codemasters and EA for the next game. Otherwise, we are going to end up in a world where we've got a decent game to play, but we can't actually play because we can't see where the other drivers are. Whilst we're on this little down period, I just want to say a quick thank you to Venturi Studio for producing those amazing graphics that you see all across the Invictus Racing League website, of course, within the Discord and on YouTube. If you are watching the stream, and we do appreciate your patience whilst we get things recalibrated, shall we say, if you could give a like for the stream, it really does promote the visibility, and maybe even join the 1,200 subscribers that we now have here. A monumental day it is for us at Invictus, and hello to everybody who is in the chat still. If you are in the chat and you're just waiting for some action, do comment who you believe is going to take a race victory or get a podium finish. It'd be nice to hear your thoughts, gauge your opinions, and we can have a discussion whilst we wait for our overlords in the Invictus Racing League to get everything resolved, which they are working feverishly at doing at the moment, bless them. Xerox, I didn't ask you for your prediction. I typically do. I mean, what are your thoughts? I mean, we had Jiri on pole, we had Ivan was right up there as well, and a couple of others. What were your thoughts? What did you think?
I'm honestly not sure. I believe the standings, the constructor standings, and the driver standings, that fight is a little bit too much to kind of juggle for my taste. So kind of focus on where the close battles are. But I would love to see Alpine versus Mercedes. We did see that a little bit at the start of the race after the lap 1 incident. But I'm kind of looking forward to see where Ferrari ends up, especially with that 21-point difference between Ivan and Lucas.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the big talking points, isn't it? Because if Ivan, let's say, doesn't finish the race and Lucas wins, he can feasibly win the championship tonight. It's not impossible. So that's something to be aware of whilst we're here. And the other thing is, and you're not wrong, Xerox, one of the other big highlights, Mercedes versus Alpine, 3 points separate them in the Constructors' Championship, with obviously Alpine on 96, Mercedes on 99. So there's a lot to play for on the third step of the podium. And Jiri, pole position, 9th in the championship, 39 points for him. I know that the lobby has been reset up so we can get in, which is good news. But for him to be on pole position is a really, really, big story. And I'd love to see him get on the podium, maybe get his first win of the season. Who knows? It's not impossible round here. But he has finished on the podium this season, from what I recall.
Yeah, that puts JP9 at a very big disadvantage, especially being the only Mercedes today. He needs to be able to have a strong finish, even though it may not be ahead of an Alpine or Alpine, however you say it. I say Alpine. He needs to have a strong finish in order to keep that constructor standing in P3 for the remainder of the season. Which, I don't know about you, but I'm not looking forward to the last two races.
I mean, personally, I love Mexico. I think it's a fabulous track and one that will promote a lot of commentary action next week. For those that are wondering, we've only got 2 rounds remaining of the season, what Xerox just alluded to, with Mexico being next and then Brazil. The final round of this game on Invictus Racing League. So that's going to be really, really fun to watch. I'm just looking here. Jiri obviously having a little run through. He finished on the podium in Monza. Claimer and Jiri are the same person, aren't they? If I'm right in saying.
I believe so.
Yeah, so that means he's had 2 podiums in a row. So he's keeping up his strong form.
It's just, I don't know how it works. I believe it's the changing the Steam name.
Yeah, he's on.
You change your Steam name, it'll change it in F123. Because I played a lot of 5M, and that I tried to avoid changing my Steam name. As we saw plenty of times throughout the season, you can see all the Steam users here at Espenek, Vasek. If you change your Steam name for F123, it'll change to whatever that is because it is your Steam account. But most of our drivers are back in. I don't know how many did we have. We had like 16, 14, 16.
Yeah, we had 14 to start with in terms of the race. That's where we were. So we're mating for 1 or 2, aren't we? I think LDR is in. Clips just needs to pick his car, which would be ideal. Otherwise, he'll be walking around the track, which I don't think is the quickest way to go around Hungary ring, to be honest. I wanted to double check for my own benefit, really. Just to put in perspective of how good Jiri's turnaround this season has been. Opening 6 races, he only scored 1 top 5, which was in Baku. That was his, first sort of top 5 result. And then after that, he was kind of in and around 10th and 12th places. And then after the Netherlands, he's just turned a corner. 6th in the Netherlands. His first podium at Monza, which was an outstanding result for him. Last week when we were at Miami, he was again right on it, got a 3rd place there, pole position today. This is a Jekyll and Hyde sort of season from Claimer or Jiri, depending on what name he wants to be, depending on what day of the week it is. The Swede has done an outstanding job. Can he emulate Ronnie Peterson, the last Swedish driver to get a Formula 1 win in the championship? Can he do that tonight? That'd be really fascinating to see if he could.
We're waiting for Klipskiri to choose his car.
I think someone's just disconnected from the lobby as well.
I did see that. And I believe it was Ivan again. Because Jiri Clement is now the admin. I don't know if that was Jiri Clement the admin?
No, it was. It was Ivan. So if Ivan's disappeared, then we're having some major problems.
Said Ivan got kicked from the game. We'll see about fixing this.
So whilst we're here, I'll tell you what, Xerox, you're the only one who can really answer this in real time. How many Swedish Formula 1 drivers do you reckon there have been in the whole championship history?
I honestly don't know. I only got into F1 recently in like 2018.
Well, the last Swedish driver to enter F1 his last season was 2018 as well.
I'm drawing a blank here. I don't know.
Do you remember Marcus?
We're going to have to start another
lobby? Oh dear.
Because of the disconnect, I don't know. but it's not confirmed as of yet. And it looks like we are.
Yeah, we are. So there'll be another lobby. But Marcus Ericsson actually was the last Swedish driver to be in F1.
And I believe this will be our final reset. If we have issues after this, then that'll be the end of the race day. Because we are an hour into the race. So, final ditch effort.
Yeah. Well, let's hope, final time of asking, that we can get this resolved for everybody, because we are doing our utmost, like Xerox says. We are 50 minutes now into the lobby, and whereas typically, we'd probably be about halfway through the race now, we're still here, waiting for a complete lap to be set without something breaking, which is always kind.
Yeah, and if we had the issues sooner, we probably wouldn't be live still, because if it was anywhere between that first half hour of us having issues, we would have just called it right there. But this will be our last effort. Joe is going to be taking race admin for this situation. Hopefully we can get everybody in. Everybody's filing in pretty quickly. Is hoping to get it up and running. And no, we're not going to run a 60-minute practice session. I don't know what you're thinking, Joe. I could not imagine a full race format, like a
No, we
full
certainly
hour of
won't.
practice, 3 sessions of qualifying, and then a full race. No, thank you.
To be fair, actually, whilst we were talking about Swedish drivers before, Renz did have a go, and he said it was free. There was not a bad guess. To be fair, I think the 3 most famous are probably Marcus Ericsson, Ronnie Peterson, and maybe Gunnar Nilsson or Stefan Johansson, maybe. I mean, Joe Bonnier was a race winner, but it was a very long time ago. You have to be a nerd like me to remember things like that.
They are a gamer at Lucas. I can get them an invite.
Can you get me an invite at the moment? Because we're currently
I just sent it to you. I saw it on stream.
Oh. Oh, I know. Hang on. Yeah, because I've got to go through F1 23's unique format system to add it.
Oh, yeah.
Go that way around, rather than through the typical PlayStation invite menu, which would be a little bit easier, to be honest.
I really thought I had Lucas on my friends list, but I don't.
You don't have Lucas is in. Oh, adds Lucas. Let's have a look. I might have him. Do I have adds Lucas? The answer to that question would be no.
If anybody in the lobby can send adds Lucas an invite, please.
Yeah. So whilst we wait, I'm having a look. We've got obviously just looking at the different types of nationalities in the lobby. I'm just carrying on with my Swedish theme, really. In terms of Czech Formula One drivers, Thomas Enge probably be the first one that springs to mind, and I think he's the only one that springs to mind actually for Czech drivers. I don't think anyone else has ever made it. Irish F1 drivers, there's been a few. Eddie Irvine.
Spectator.
Yeah, and yes, you're very right. I'm getting carried away in my own game here. Derek Daly, Tommy Byrne, and maybe Ralph Furman. I wonder if there's anyone else. Might be. I'm not going to go through the British Formula 1 drivers, otherwise we'll be here till probably midnight, I think, trying to go through every single one.
Speaking of British Formula 1 drivers, Miami Grand Prix, Lando Norris wins his maiden race.
Yeah.
I'm very happy for him. Very emotional.
It was a wonderful moment for the people who followed him for years. I mean, on a personal level, for those, I've always been a huge fan of motorsports for many years. But I've watched Lando Norris race when he was in the MSRF Formula 4 years and years ago in Alton Park. And to see him go through the ladder the way that he has done and to make his first Grand Prix victory, I had tears in my eyes. It was absolutely beautiful. to see
our
him
lobby start.
get it. And we are starting. Way fantastic. We are finally ready.
Sorry to cut you off there, but it's our final attempt. It's end of the race or nothing here. So,
Renz, to answer your question, when will the checkered flag drop? When it's over.
Yes, exactly.
When it's over. Well, it's been a delayed start, twice delayed start through invariably no fault of our own. But fingers crossed now. Yeah, we are going to have the full race. It's just come up then to say 35 laps. I say full race, 50% of course here at Invictus. And it gives the chance, the drivers need to remember to set their setups actually. Now that they're back in a new lobby, they need to remember that. Otherwise, they will be so shorn of downforce that they're really going to struggle.
I just got a notification that my headset is about to die. It's saying low battery. So I hope I can make it to the end of the race. We'll hope so.
I'm assuming if everything goes quiet, it will be a remake of the of Paranormal Activity, the ghost of headset pasta have got you.
Oh yeah, I still have those. Yeah, I don't want to do that.
Well, we still will have a dry race, everybody. We're waiting for everything to get underway. I imagine we'll be underway in the next 90 seconds because they're going to want to get on with this as soon as possible. We are approaching 9 o'clock British Standard Time. What time is it for you over there, Xerox, where you are currently?
It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh, lovely.
I work nights and I took a nap this morning, and then I'll have to take another nap afterwards to go back into work tonight. And then the rest of the week is good.
Do you have sunny blue skies over where you are at the moment, or rain?
No.
No.
It's overcast weather, which I'm seeing overcast on the screen there in the top left.
Yeah, it will be a dry race though. I don't think anything will change from that. Typically, if a lobby gets reset, we stay with the same weather conditions, everybody. It's not like we're going to have some randomised weather thrown in.
Yeah, a dry race and no safety cars for the sake of commentary. But I'm sure my headset will make it to the end.
He says, crossing all of his fingers in fun.
I just don't have an adapter for this headset to my phone because it's one of the newer Type-C cords. But looks like we're going to have a ready up here shortly. And looking for a good restart.
Well, let's see. I wonder if any drivers will have made any difference in strategies compared to earlier. I remember the drivers who picked soft tyre compounds, so I'll keep an eye out on that, and I'll let you know as the race goes by who makes that decision. And we are moments away from the delayed, almost cancelled restart of the Hungaroring.
Yeah. The drivers have been patient and cooperative. They do not want to have this race end shortly.
Nor do the viewers.
Without an end result. And it looks like quite a selection of tires.
Hey, there we go then. We got the 5 red lights here at Hungary. And the race is live from the Hungaroring. It's a similar start again as before. Jiri has got a decent one, but his second phase isn't as strong. Joe Hamster trying to make it 3 wide again as they approach turn 1. Joe going all the way around the outside. What a potential fabulous move from the McLaren. Takes the lead from JP. Keynes is third. There's a massive accident in the background. Ed Asmanek and LDR are out, and the safety car is out. Oh, that is a shame. But what a start!
Yesterday, we had a safety car through Sector 1 with, I believe, 1 or... Was it 2 drivers out yesterday?
I believe it was 1.
Yes, we had Ivan Belov and Vasek fall off for positions. Ivan losing the most out of that situation, losing 7 grid positions. Vasek losing 5. And they knew what was coming through turn 1 from the race start earlier. Because
they were all
this whole
itching
race
to get
strategy
underway, weren't they? And they've dropped
they
themselves
just
to the
wanna,
back. But I wonder
yeah.
what did you see what happened there, Xerox? Because I was too busy watching Joe's incredible bravery around the outside.
I noticed that Ivan was side by side with Vasek. I believe it was either Vasek or Lucas, one of the Aston Martins. And then I tried to go over to Ivan, but they were falling down the order too quickly to keep up. I should have went the other direction on my bumpers. Looks like Vasek has damage. He's going to be coming into the pits. Edas Manek and LDR Gamer are... They ran medium and hards. Edas Manek was running hard tires.
And he
Trying to
wasn't.
avoid the situation here with the safety car.
And he wasn't earlier either in the first race start. Most of the top drivers actually have completely swapped tyres around. And Vasek did not have his front wing changed. He's just got a new set of hards on.
Probably playing a long game. Making a wrong decision after that safety car. Because safety car will most likely come in at the end of this lap. Vasek not too far back behind the grid. So not too much loss on those soft tires, depending on where those drivers can keep their temperatures. And I actually got a drive-through penalty yesterday for speeding under the safety car. I don't know how, but apparently wasn't paying enough attention to the Delta.
Well, LDR Gamer and Ed very unhappy with what's gone on there.
Especially having to wait an hour to get the race.
Yeah, so frustrating with that. I'm just going to try and get some points of view regarding it. LDR just said someone pushed him across the track, and that was that. So I'm sure that will get resolved in the stewards area. Let's see if the safety car comes in this lap. And we haven't had an announcement. Vasek has caught the pack. Yeah, there is a it's bunching and then closing. Yeah, I saw that.
So Vasek couldn't quite get to them in time for the safety car to come in this lap. So it's gonna be running another lap.
What a start from Joe, though. I mean, that was out. I think it caught Jiri by surprise because Jiri was comfortably in P1, and then Joe went so late on the brakes around the outside, and JP must have capitalised on Joe's boldness, and Jiri just kind of got pinched between two cars, didn't really know where to go, and then Kent capitalised on that as well. So Jiri must be sat there thinking, what on earth else could I have done? But he's now got two soft tyre drivers right behind him in the form of Lucas and Clips. He's going to have to defend immediately from the restart. So, wow. I mean, it was worth the wait.
JP9 sitting P2 currently ahead of both Alpines, so even with both Alpines in the points, that still holds off the Mercedes in P3 against the Alpine in P4. The two McLarens, they're looking to make some improvement. They are quite a bit of ways from Haas in P7 in the Constructors, but a good finish for them would mean maybe midfield in the standings, because there's a handful of drivers. There's about 4 or 5 drivers. There's Edmund Cerny, or in the Williams, or Ed Esmanek in the Williams. Mr. Steen, who's not here in the Mercedes, Toast, and Joe, who are all in the mid to low 20s. So personal improvement there would be nice towards the end of the season, and maybe moving up some places. But Haas and AlphaTauri, the lower end of the grid, we don't have any Haas's today, so AlphaTauri, if they can, LDR Gamer is out. Just realized that as we're coming up to our restart. Go ahead.
Yeah, we are, and I'm on board with JP9 just so he can see when Joe decides to drop the hammer. He's delaying his restart for as long as he possibly can, and I wonder whether he will go just on the approach to turn number 14, the final corner. You can see Joe just weaving, getting the temperature into the tyres. See whether he goes. And that's nice. That's nice thinking from JP. We can't draw too far along the outside, but that's good placement. Now he's a little bit too close. He's still not got. Oh, he nearly ran into the back of JP. And there we go. He goes. Does Joe? He's off and under away. That was a nice restart. JP was trying to take advantage. It didn't quite work out. Kent's under pressure already from Jiri, who's also under pressure from Lucas and Clips as they approach turn number 1. That's a good corner from Clips. He's on the inside. We'll ride on board with Ads Lucas. And I think Clips is going to get move sealed, signed and delivered, is he? Well, he leaves room on the inside for Lucas. He should get the drive off the corner as they go through turn 3. He's still there, but he clips the grass and goes through. This is Ads Lucas going on the grass to go through. And he does indeed. He's up to 6th. What a move.
Curb for Clips carry. Gotta be careful on that right side because you can get caught on the curb and end up going in the runoff. I had that situation yesterday. We were going 3 wide into that turn with myself, my teammate, and I believe it was Daryl. But Clips carry back in P7 as we're getting a little bit of a checkerboard here with our tires.
Yeah, we are. It's a nice set of drafts, isn't it, at the moment, with red and yellow and then a hard tyre, just for the referee, shall we call it, in this analogy. But Joe breaking away already.
Little snap there from Joe, putting the power down, 1.3 ahead. Could have plenty of a gap to run, setting a new fastest lap.
Kent has made a mistake and he's dropped out of the top 3. He's down to 5th, but he's going to fight back on the inside of Lucas. Got to be careful with this one, does Lucas. He can't afford any contact whilst he's in front of Ivan. Nice drive around the outside from the Aston. Cements that place in 4th.
Lucas is going to make a move on the inside as well. And the McLaren Kent losing out 2 positions potentially. Little bit of a scrub there on the tires as Kent moves back down to P6.
He can see and sense that they're all supercharged. They've been Hungary racing drivers waiting to go out and do some action for the last hour, and now they're doing it out of the circuit. Oh, Ads Lucas running over the 50-metre the marker board there. He went too wide. He got away with that, really. He can't afford to go that far wide again. Both Alpines in the top 5, which is a good sign of progress for those guys. But the whole grid right together, apart from obviously Joe, who is absolutely nailing it away at the front. He's 1.8 clear. Jiri back into 3rd place. Let's watch his progress with keen interest. He got pole position. He's certainly no slouch around here, but what is his pace like on those medium Pirelli tyres? We'll wait and see how he adapts to the demands of this circuit.
I can tell from that last few corners, Jiri Clement has a higher downforce setup than JP9. He went from 9/10 to 6/10 in no time. And using that to his advantage, putting the power down a little bit early. Those wings able to help with corner exit, especially through sector 1, this left-hander here. Like I said in qualifying so long ago, trying to make up that ground on JP9. 1.9 is now the gap between JP9 and Joe. We have some close fighting behind us. Ruddo, he was a 10th back, but now he's 3/10 back behind Clips Carey. And his teammate Ivan sitting calmly behind.
It was all because Clips Carey got a loose on the exit of turn number 3. That corner where he saw him clip the grass before, he had another wobble through there. So maybe Clips is something not quite right with the rear of that car. It looks like it's stepping out a little bit more than what it needs to through the high-speed corners, and maybe those soft tyres are already starting to struggle. I'd be surprised at this early stage of the race, but we have seen it before. Clips, though, very aggressive. They're right behind Ads Lucas and Kent is the Red Bull, but we're going to have DRS wide open. I'm looking a little bit further forward just to see if there's any moves, any shakers going on. No, not at the moment. So Kent will be the first to have a chance on the outside of Ads Lucas. This is tries to do the switch back. Nice run, nice exit, but gets a little bit of oversteer and can't cement it.
I was on board with Clips Carey behind that battle, and really strong move from the Alpine.
Yeah, he's able to hold the position, wasn't he? And the thing with the drivers, what they might not realise is that trying to go around the outside at turn 1 is probably the more likely way of overtaking around there. You get a better drive off the corner. It's a move that a few drivers were doing in Tier 3 yesterday, and it worked out really well for them. So Let's see if that happens. There's a little bit of a two groups of forming though, isn't there? Joe on his own at the front, then it's JP, Jiri, Lucas, the first group, and then everybody else from 5th down to 12th.
Yeah. And Vasek up in a P11 with those hard tires, about 1.7 out of Zolf's mistake, I believe. I don't know if
Yeah,
I
Zolf
wasn't
just
able to
went.
see what happened.
Zolf just travelled off to Budapest then, no matter the width that he took at turn
Lucas
11.
Blaha, 3/10 coming around the final corners, looking to make an advantage here on the Alpine with DRS. DRS train actually adds Lucas out of the DRS from that front group. But we're not going to see any position changes. Lucas is a little bit too far back to make a move on the inside.
Kent on the inside at turn 1, a little bit of wheel banging, but he goes through, does the McLaren, and into 5th place. And Lucas has got to be careful that...
Going to make a move on the inside. No, he's going to back out.
Yeah.
Strong move. Good decision. As Lucas Blaha is going to hopefully make a move through the end of Sector 2. Lost the words there for a second. As Joe still holding on about 1.9, just under 2 seconds against JP9.
Those tyres will have hit their peak at the moment in terms of pace. They'll now probably match the medium compound tyre, but will steadily get slower over the rest of this stint. But do expect to see Joe try and hang these tyres out for as long as possible. We just know that the mediums start to come into their own around this point of the race, especially after the safety car we've had. So realistically, 5 laps of green flag running. The mediums are starting to pick up.
As you were saying that, we could already see that the time is down to 1.4. Now 1.3 coming around the final few corners onto the main straight. That DRS is very powerful in this track. It's just you have to make sure you hit your braking point into turn 1 or you are in the runoff.
Yeah, and speaking of the crossover in terms of tyre performance, Ruddo down the inside of Klipskiri at turn 1. Ooh, snap of oversteer from the Red Bull, collects it up nicely, but that is move completed for the Ferrari up to 7th. Now, can Ruddo make any impression on the cars in front? Adds Lucas, don't forget, with Kent, they're 2.5 seconds behind the leading group, and you have a sneaking suspicion that Ruddo, Ivan and Vasek could be with that front group, but this track is not easy to overtake on, and with the DRS train, it's even more challenging.
You either have to wait for the main straight, or one of the straights in Sector 3 or Sector 1, or wait for someone to make a mistake through one of the fast corners in Sector 2.
That you do. JP,
see, 8/10
there you go.
Gap already. See if Joe makes an early pit stop. He will not. He's still running strong.
I don't think he'll pit for a few laps, you know, Xerox. I think realistically at this point in the race, if Joe can remain in front of JP for as long as possible, he won't pit. I think the moment JP goes past, that's when he'll decide to pit realistically.
Yeah.
This front 4 are just in their own little bubble at the moment, 3 seconds clear of Kent, who has kind of stabilised the gap. The gaps behind everybody else are quite stable, but having said that, that's a big lunge from Ivan, and both of them have gone round. And I hate to say it, but I think Ivan's look up the inside was a bit opportunistic at best. And that, well, I mean, he's in 12th place, 1 point. The gap between him and Lucas in the championship was 21, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Lucas Blaha is 111 and Ivan at 90. And even though he's P12 with a penalty from the stewards, depending on how that outcome is, that's not going to help the case. And yeah, Lucas Blaha sitting P4 for a decent amount of points. Half a second back behind Jerry Clement in the mediums. And looks like we may see some moves here on the main straight. No, that's going to be Lucas Blaha coming into the pits for an early stop.
Yeah.
Jerry Clement trying to make a move on JP9. JP9's going to try to make a move on Joe. So DRS train, maybe 2 wide, 3 wide. Cut retired out of the session. I don't know. That's going to be wide out of the final corner for Ka. May have lost it on those medium tires. I don't know.
No
Get
safety
to the driver's
car for
room
that.
and it is in the runoff.
No safety car for that one, which is curious. The front three all stayed together despite that, and Lucas has come out in 11th, 2 seconds behind his main championship rival, and Ivan's heart will be plunging to his boots when he sees that, because he knows that Lucas has made a pit stop, and he's going to be crawling all over the back of that Ferrari in a few corners' time, I suspect.
And Joe's still holding on to the lead. I'm guessing he may have enough battery. They're actually both evenly matched on battery or so. It's going to be a strong fight. Decide who goes into the pits first. We know it's going to be Joe. It just depends on when.
Yeah, it will be. And I think that, will Joe react to Lucas? Because Lucas is now right behind Ivan. And the answer to that question already is no. Joe carries on. Ivan is still fending off Lucas, but there really isn't much he could have done. New, fresh, medium tyres are so much stronger than 10-lap-old softs. And sure enough, Ivan is the next soft tyre runner to pit, and that is Ruddo, trying to go through on Ads Lucas. These two had a massive scrap last week at Miami. They were fighting tooth and nail, corner by corner. But Ruddo is in front without too much of a complaint.
I've been watching JB9. He had the opportunity to make a move in turn 1, but he's going to go ahead and wait on that and save his battery. We do have a response from Ka. Turned in way too early, didn't realize it was too late. So
did he hit the wall on the inside then and just
I believe
skate
he hit
off?
the wall on the inside, and then, yeah. I've done that a few times in career mode, where you realize your car has a little bit more downforce than you thought. JP9, less than 2/10 coming around these final few corners. He's just probably waiting for Joe to go in. That way he can take advantage of that.
And Joe carries on. Joe is carrying on, but he's going to be under threat now from JP, but JP himself is right with Jiri, but your call was correct before, Xerox. JP trying to go to the outside.
A little bit of scrubbing there.
Is
Joe,
this the option? Opportunity?
Coming out of nowhere.
Is he going to go around the outside at turn 3? He's going to have to be big and brave. He's not big and brave. He's smart and sensible. Yeah. Do you know?
Three-way fight for the lead.
Yeah, wow. I mean, these three are really showing off some driving skills. But Lucas is 16 seconds behind this group now. Now, admittedly, for JP and Jiri, it's a little bit different for them. When they pit, I imagine they're going to go for soft tyres. They're going to try and make them last. But for Joe, he's going to have to hope the tyre offset makes up that difference in terms of speed later.
Well, Joe and Ken are running on the softs. They're running a similar strategy, most likely. And even though Joe is defending, I believe Kent has a little bit better off on the tire management, because Joe is under pressure, especially through turn 1 and sector 1. We'll have to wait and see. I don't know if that was a little bit of a snap there. But Joe carries on. It's going to be at 13 laps now on the soft tires. And he has Jiri and JP9 behind him to try and defend.
Yeah, he does. He really does. Can he hang on? Here he goes to the outside again. Does JP?
Yeah, Joe choosing to defend the inside line. That's the better line to come out of turn 1. And no position changes as of yet. Jiri Clement backing off a little bit to let things happen. Vasek up in a P6 now.
And adds Lucas as well. I think Kent just got blasted by with DRS there. So those soft tyre runners who are hanging on, Kent, Zolf and obviously Joe, are maximising their tyres. Jiri looks so much faster though than the two. Yeah. Well, the gap's now 12.7 between Lucas and Joe. So it's on Lucas and everybody now. We've got to watch Lucas's progress. He's overtaken Zolf and other cutters that he's got past earlier with no real issue. And he's 11 seconds behind now. He's currently... Oh! Is JP disconnected?
What happened there? No, he's still here.
That was really...
I don't know, there's a situation where he backed off for some reason through the apex and Jiri Clement ghosted through. I think that's the game mechanics saying, like, hey, that's going to cause a wreck, we're going to avoid that, but
very odd.
What happened?
Vasek moves past Lucas, adds that is, for P5, and he keeps that position as well, so that's another position gained. His teammate only 5.5 seconds behind that fight.
Clement right in the gearbox,
yeah,
pushing him. That's how I was with JPH yesterday, just pushing me around, letting me use my battery. JP has disconnected.
I thought he had. It looked really bizarre. I wasn't quite sure. When I was watching him through the corner, something didn't seem quite right, and sure enough, he's disconnected, as you rightfully say. Ruddo's going to try and get past him. That's a bit awkward to go past an AI there, but Ruddo does the move. Ah, it's such a shame for JP. It's happened again, hasn't it? Bad luck strikes his internet connection.
I did get a hold of him, see if he needs an invite back. I'll send him one anyways. And that's going to be Joe in to the pits.
He is back in now, fortunately. So, 15 tyres for the softs. They got away with it. The medium tyre runners carry on, and Jiri Clement leads the way here at the Hungaroring. It's Ruddo now up to second. Vasek in third position, side by side between Ad Lucas and the still recovering JP. It doesn't look like he's got control of his car yet, but give him a couple of corners, I'm sure he'll get back in charge of it. Lucas, though, looking in stellar form at the moment. Currently 7 seconds behind Jiri Clement. Don't forget, Jiri's still got a pit, so... Ooh, it's all to play for. And the other thing is... Right, this is the thing here for yourself, Xerox. Lucas pitted, what was it, 5 laps ago? Joe is 14 seconds behind him.
Yeah.
That's how much time Joe has lost as a result. Lucas could afford to do a 2-stop strategy now. And he's right on the back of, I want to say it's JP's Ghost, but I'm not 100% convinced.
It is. He is having connection issues. And I didn't see him rejoin. So.
He did say he joined. I'm just looking at his throttle input to see whether that's a ghost or not. Lucas trying to go around the outside of him one way or another. Nice exit from the Aston Martin. He boots all of his battery deployments. JP,
because I saw those late shifts in the
straight. Lucas down the inside at turn 1.
Be a move. Was on board with JP9. He came out of nowhere. That was a good move from the Aston Martin. Vasek, 4/10 behind Ruddo on those hard tires. Very smart move on his end for those hard tires after that early safety car.
Yeah, really, really good call from him. And we currently still have out in front Jiri. Vasek in third position, actually now putting the pressure on Ruddo. So I said this earlier, that the medium tyres, they can do 20 laps of racing, but they just don't have any grip available to them after that. So what we're going to see now is the hard tyre runners of both Vasek and Ivan, potentially Ivan later in the race, come into the ascendancy, and Lucas has got past Ads Lucas for 4th position. That's a nice brave move into turn 12. But we're seeing those hard tyre runners, just to finish off my point, really hitting the hammer hard and able to put pace with those on the medium tyres. DRS wide open for the Aston Martin. He'll want to get through, will Vasek. Look at the straight line speed.
And those old hard tires still have some life in them compared to those mediums.
JP also through on Lucas, adds that is, for 5th position. So Lucas has been re-overtaken by the Mercedes. The Mercedes back in control of the car. And Zolf managed to make those soft tyres last 16 laps, but he's now coming into the pits.
So yeah, the field has pretty much been spread out. We still have some drivers in the front to take a pit. And would be a little bit more exciting if we had our other 3 drivers, but it's very unfortunate for them. The incident from turn 1 and the crash out from K.
And look, Lucas now really applying the pressure to the back of the Ferrari. That rear diffuser is looking mightily vulnerable to Lucas currently. That car looks especially rapid. Vasek, we know that Vasek will just move out the way for Lucas. They're on different strategies, the two of them, and they do work together, the two Jet Drive. Look at the grip that Lucas has. Those newer medium tyres, very, very powerful around that final corner. But Ruddo showing some straight line speed, but I fear that he won't have the braking capacity, and sure enough, Ruddo lets him go in the braking zone, and that is move complete for our championship leader, who is in 3rd position in the race. It's about to become P2, and when Jiri pits, he will be leading the race. Wow.
Yeah, the Aston Martin's running very good right now. There was a highlight in the driver's room from turn 1. Ivan was having issues. It looked like he was having connection issues. He ended up turning into another driver, causing some mishap. But we'll have to wait and see next week, see what the stewards classify that incident as. As right now, Aston Martin, as they sit, even though they have to come in, or Vasek still has to come in for a pit stop, they're going to be taking that advantage against Ferrari with Renault in P4, Ivan in P10.
As it stands, we've got, we're going to assume that Lucas, I think that's Jiri, Jiri into the pit. So our race leader, pole position man, decides to pit for a brand new set with what I'm going to assume will be soft tyres. Into the leader race goes Lucas Blaha, the championship leader, moving himself into P1. Ruddo just there shadowing. Jiri has gone for the hard compound tyre. They will be in better conditions compared to Lucas's mediums if Lucas decides to do a one-stop, but this is Lucas we're talking about. If he wants to do a two-stopper, he will decide to do so, because this is Lucas at the end of the day.
There still is plenty of time for another safety car to come out, but it's just depending on the situation. All of our drivers are pretty widespread apart to not cause one unless somebody spins out and smashes into the wall and ends up on the track. But right now,
you said before, right, that the current gap between Lucas and obviously Ivan is 21 points. Were we right in saying?
Yes.
As it stands, let me just have a look at the fastest lap, because that's going to be critical here.
I wasn't sure if they are still counting the fastest lap.
Yeah, fastest lap point still enabled, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so currently
into the pits off of those hard tires.
Adds Lucas coming in as well. So that's 2 of the remaining 4 that have pitted who were still running out on first lap equipped tyres. But Ruddo and JP
has that fight with Ruddo. They have the driver standings fight too, so very important fight. They're going to be running the same pit stop strategy, most likely. That way they can stay together, because you don't want to lose out on the undercut.
I think that those two, Ruddo and JP, will pit for soft tyres. We've just seen Ads Lucas bolt on a set of softs. I'd be surprised if anybody else does. Obviously, Vasek's gone for mediums, but that's because he started on the hard, so it makes sense. He can take those tyres all the way to the end of the race. The softs will be screaming by the end.
Ruddo was late into the chicane. He went late and had a lot of curb coming out of the chicane, so he still looks like he's running good. He has a lot of downforce, I can tell. I'm on board with JP9. You can see the downforce on that Ferrari coming through those corners.
Would you like to know something fascinating, Xerox?
Yes.
If Lucas and Ivan finish where they are, Lucas will go into... well, that's not the case. Lucas is two-stopping. I was about to say, if Lucas finishes where he is, he'd be 34 points clear going into the last 2 races. But that is no longer the case. Ruddo decides to take over the lead. Joe is up into 2nd position. Now, I suspect Joe will try and make those tyres last to the end, to try and do something different. But Lucas on another set of medium compound tyres, JP on the softs.
He's going to expect to run those soft tires. I ran soft tires yesterday, I believe from like lap, when was our last safety car? I don't remember. Like 26, 27?
Something like that.
And the Alpine adds Lucas moving to the inside as JP9 was coming out. And,
that's not what JP
scrubbing.
wanted.
No, but he can use the momentum from Ads Lucas to get up to speed, get those tires warmed up, and see where Ruddo ends up. Or if he decides to stay out for a lap or two. We'll have to wait and see. You can pull 25 laps out of those medium tires.
You can, you certainly can for definite. But I feel that Ruddo will decide to make a pit stop. But when he does, he'll re-emerge behind JP. I'd be surprised if he was in front of JP, only because JP's running the soft tyres and trying to do the undercut. And sure enough, Ruddo into the pits, our race leader. And that gives Joe Hamster the lead of the race. Currently, he's 12.3 seconds clear of Lucas Blaha. Will the McLaren decide to do a one-stop? And that is Jiri going past Kent for P2, and Ads Lucas now does the fastest lap of the race. And Ruddo does come out behind JP.
It's a McLaren double podium at this point. Aston Martin pulling onto 4 and 5. But we have Ads Lucas, JP9, and Ruddo on the soft tires. It's about a 2-second gap between Ruddo and JP9 for that championship fight. JP9 finishes ahead of Ruddo. That puts him ever so slightly ahead. But Ads Lucas, if he ends up finishing ahead of JP9, that makes it a little bit closer deficit between P4, P5. But Ads Lucas will be getting points on K, so that'll increase the gap for P5.
Yeah, don't forget Kerr, a one-time race winner this season as well in the Red Bull. JP plastered onto the rear wing of that Red Bull, no longer plastered, he's right through at turn 12, nice and late on the brakes from the Mercedes. The grip advantage that he has from those soft tyres, never more apparent than it was then. So JP up to 7th, he's got to try his comeback now, whether he can catch the top 5. That will be the next question. Speaking of the top 5, Lucas in P4 has joined the DRS gap to Kent. And Jiri is also catching Joe here. So there's a lot to play for. There's a lot at stake here now. With 11 laps to go, this race has got all the possibility of re-merging together. And can Kent do his teammate a solid and block the Aston Martins from coming through? They're both on the same tyre. They're both only a lap difference. The Aston Martins are going to be wanting a 1-2 here. And with 11 to go, it's not out of the question that they're only 10 seconds behind. It's not over.
Yeah, we're 11, 12 laps to go. And my headset's going off on me. I don't know if I'll make it to the end of the race now, but it is a very close fight with the McLaren of Kent and Lucas Blaha for P3. Almost made a move on the inside there. He's going to be able to make a pass right up in the gearbox. I believe both Aston Martins may be able to have an opportunity to get up into P3 and P4.
Yeah, they might do. McLaren. They might do that. McLaren doing everything it can, but Vasek is alongside. They're going to go 3 wide. It's an Aston Martin sandwich as they go towards turn 1. They've got rid of the filling, and Vasek is on the inside, and he squeezes his teammate off the road and goes into P3. 2 for the price of 1, but Lucas is going to fight back on the inside of the McLaren. He's past Kent, and despite Kent's best efforts, he's held them up for about a lap as best as he could. The 2 Aston Martins are through to P3 and P4, and now the hunt is on to catch Joe Hamster. 10 laps to go.
Yeah, even though Vasek and Lucas are on new mediums, I was on board with Lucas, but it seemed like it may have been a control issue, like a little bit too much oversteer, where Lucas Blaha had to take the out into the runoff. But we see Kent on these 10-lap mediums starting to fall off.
He's going to fall into the clutches of the three soft tyre runners, isn't he? Because Ads, Lucas, JP and Ruddo have got a motor on in the last few laps, and they're right there.
They are closing in. Ruddo's closing in. Aerosol, a late penalty. First track limit penalty for today. We haven't had any penalties, and we're 3/4 of the way through this
That's really
race.
impressive around here, because it's really strict on track limits around this circuit. Lucas then
had a
regulation overtake between the Aston Martins. Lucas up into P3.
Try to leapfrog and catch up to P2
Ooh.
Jerry Clement.
JP got past Ads Lucas, and we've seen it time and time again this season.
Side by side.
JP
Jumping on the outside, tire scrubbing. JP9 holding onto that position, not caring about that.
Nice switch back from the
again.
Alpine. What an overtake that was from Ads Lucas. I don't know if you saw it, Xerox, but into turn one, JP got the move done, but then locked the rear tyres. As we've seen many times this season, JP likes a rear braking type car.
Yeah.
And then Ads Lucas kind of ran into the back of him. But the point is that the three of them, all together, within a second, that is not going to be a safety car for Zolf. I think he's just had a spin. Yeah, he's fine.
Yeah. Alonso versus Hamilton 2021 between the Aston Martin and the Mercedes. I'm guessing that's what you're talking about with JP9 and Ads Lucas. You're going to have to make that clear.
I'm thinking Jiri and Lucas, because in 2021, Jiri was driving Alonso was driving in the Alpine, and Vettel was behind, obviously, in the Aston Martin at the time. But then Hamilton, of course, caught up to him as well. So there's two fights really in that one. That's JP going past Ads Lucas. Ruddo trying to make her way through. We got a nice little fight there, but Jiri is under pressure. The gap,
trying to make a move on Ads Lucas as well. Ivan offered those hard.
Ooh, that was so tight.
A little bit of contact there, nothing too dangerous. A little bit of racing.
Ad Lucas and Ruddo have a little bit of past form between the two of them. I mentioned it before at Miami. They were kicking 7 bells out of each other. And they've had a couple of cleaner run-ins, shall we say, this evening. But they have shared the same piece of tarmac at the same time today. So let's see how they progress. But Lucas, 8 laps to go, and he's 5 seconds behind Joe. I hope Joe's saving his battery.
I noticed that Ivan came into the pits, and looking where Ivan is, and looking where Ruddo is compared to the Aston Martins, Aston Martin is pretty much going to close the gap on the championship fight for constructors with if the result is this, but we're still a handful of laps to go. Jerry Clement back into P3.
Yeah, Lucas
moving into P2.
Lucas, a straightforward drag reduction system overtake and goes through. And the other thing is Lucas now has fastest lap point. There's a yellow flag out there. That's Zolf in the wall, and that's a broken front wing, I reckon, as well. There's a VSC. Good timing for Clips, because he's just come into the pits, actually.
Yeah, that VSC saves him a little bit. But everybody's still in the points. Aero Zolf managed to save the car enough to stay in the points. Very unfortunate for Cut in P12. Finishing his race early will not be able to get that extra point. And as long as these drivers can finish the race, they get points.
Yeah. Lucas also has fastest lap as well. So this is the scenario, ladies and gentlemen. If Ivan finishes where he is, he'll score 3 points for the championship. If Lucas, let's say, takes the race victory, that would be a maximum of 17 plus the extra point for fast lap would give him 18. He would be, as we go racing again, he'd be 39 points clear in the driver's... No, sorry, he would be 35 points clear. He'd only need 2 points from the next 2 races to win the championship.
JP9 right up in the gearbox of Kent. 5-second gap between Kent and Bastek. JP9 still looking to make a move. Maybe here in turn 1.
From a long way back.
McLarens are choosing to defend the inside line. Both McLarens. We've seen plenty from Joe. We've seen that move from Kent. Is JP9 still waiting to make a move here? He's got Ruddo right behind him, so there is that driver standing fight on those soft tires.
Yeah,
But,
and the thing is for JP and Ruddo is you feel that this is as good as it's going to get for them because by the time they get past Kent, if they do get past Kent, the tyres won't have enough left in terms of performance from this point forward. So
yeah.
they kind of have got to get on with it really, otherwise Kent will be able to come back at them.
And JP9 still trying to push into the back of Kent, like, hey, get out of the way. I have a championship fight I'm dealing with right now, and you're not helping one bit. Ruddo's still holding on to the back of JP9. He's waiting to see, because that move against JP9 and Kent, it's not going to help with his tire life, especially having that extra lap of use on the soft tires. And Ads Lucas is actually catching up a little bit between himself and Clipscary. Clipscary came out of the pits on the soft, so he's still got a lot of ground to make up. Ruddo making a move, possibly on the...
Take two, JP on the outside. He's going to go around the outside, which is the best place to be. And he's got his car far enough along the outside. He goes, oh, and there's contact. They're both in the wall. That's Kent out of the race. That's a safety car. Ivan Belov is the happiest man in the world. JP goes back to being the angriest. It looked like it was two cars just fighting over the same place. It'll go to the stewards, that one. But we have a safety car on lap 30 of the race. And the way
come in at 33. It has to come in at 33.
It will come in at 33, no doubt about it. But the question remains, will the drivers at the front decide to make a pit stop? I wonder if Joe's a bit disappointed by that. I imagine he would be. He still had a buffer over Lucas. And he had...
old mediums, 2.8 is the gap. Well, I don't know what the gap was before the safety.
It was about 2.8 anyway, yeah. And I feel that he had all the battery in the world available to him compared to Lucas. He is going into pit.
Joe's
New set of soft.
Lucas is coming in.
Yeah, they're all going to.
I believe is coming in. And Vasek, they're all coming in for new sets of soft. And I wouldn't be surprised if any of the other soft tire runners come in, but they can take care of their soft tires under that safety car.
Well, Ads Lucas has decided he's going for it. He's going round the outside. He's not pitting. And Ads Lucas has done this before, but can he get out in front of Joe Hamster, the race leader? It's going to be oh so tight at the line. Here we go towards turn one. Ads Lucas has got there. But he's on 10-lap-old softs. Can he hang on? There's going to be no DRS either, so if there's ever a track to try and hold on to your old tyres, it's Hungaroring.
And speaking of old tires, we have some input from Kent on JP9 for that incident. He had a snap of oversteer coming out of turn 1 and ended up moving into JP9's car, forcing that incident. So, unless it's not going to be handled as a gentleman's agreement, that's going to be going to the stewards. That definitely plays into JP9, but it doesn't really benefit him for this championship.
No, not at all. I mean, the other drivers who are... JP's obviously changed his front wing. Clips will be back in the hunt. Ivan... he's kind of ran an anomalous race, really, hasn't he, Ivan, today? But this just brings him right back into the fold, and it'll keep his distant championship chances alive. So he'll be delighted with that. But can he make any progress from 9th? It's amazing to say he's the last driver running at the moment, and he's in 9th position. But we have got Ads Lucas in the lead. He didn't make a pit stop. He gambled, went for something different, as he likes to do. He always is the one to try something different, is Ads Lucas. And right now, he's sitting pretty at the front of the field. We're going to have, at the end of lap 32, start of lap 33, a 3-lap sprint to the end. Can Lucas hold on to the win? Around here, anything can. He's going to have Joe behind.
Seen it from week 1 to now, how close the interval is between all of our drivers. Everybody on stops. Adds Lucas at a disadvantage. If he can run those softs to the end and keep where he's at, Same with Ivan. If he can push through the field with those older softs, it'd be a great finish. And I don't know if from what I've seen so far this season, this is the first time I've seen a late safety car for the end of a race and nobody has penalties.
No, it's been. And to be honest with you, this is the hardest track in terms of penalties as well on the calendar. Maybe Mexico, maybe actually is a little bit more tricky, but this has been a really clean set of driving from track limits for the drivers tonight. They've been impressive with that.
Joe has to really be on point for this restart to keep that pressure on Ads Lucas.
Will Joe decide to do the tactic that JP just tried to do with him before? Sort of sit on the outside of the final corner and then try and get a better launch than Ads Lucas off that final corner. Safety car in this lap. We will only have... Actually, I was going to say we'll only have one lap of DRS, but it won't be activated until the final corner of the final lap. So it's a straight fight for everybody. What a glorious opportunity this is for anybody who's willing to take a chance on this final restart here at the Hungaroring. We're riding on board with Joe Hamster, who's been leading most of the race. But when does Ads Lucas decide to go? He's got to nail the restart here. Otherwise, he's going to be under threat from everybody behind. He's still not gone. He's weaving left and right. Now he goes. It's a nice enough restart, but he's going to be under pressure as they hit turn one. Joe's already in the slipstream of him. He's going to go to the inside to defenders. Ads Lucas.
He's going to round the outside of turn one.
Lucas
pushing him off the track. A very good fight from him.
He holds on for now, but Joe won't have any of that, and he's going to look to the inside of turn two. Wow, they're side by side together. We're riding on board with Lucas Blaha. He's trying to take advantage. He knows he's got to make a break for it now. He can't go through it turn four, and sure enough, he backs out of it. What a great bit of defensive driving round the outside from Lucas Blaha. He does it, Alonso, but he can't go through. This side by side, this is outstanding, and now they make contact. Oh no, that's such a shame.
Everybody made contact through the chicane. Ads Lucas is 3.1 seconds clear. No chance of a safety car.
Clips Kerry's up to second. As a result of all of that, JP third, Ivan's up to fourth. Jiri fifth place. Joe, everybody lower down is going to be furious. Ruddo's got a broken front wing. Ads Lucas might just take a race win by pure advantage of the fact that everybody has absolutely binned it at the chicane of turns number 6 and 7.
We've got the chat and the driver's room saying that would have been a move for Lucas.
Lucas almost pulling off an Alonso Schumacher move on Joe Hamster. I'm so devastated that it ended in an accident. Wow.
I'm gonna have to watch that on your perspective from the stream because I was on board with Lucas the whole time.
I was on board as well. Ads is leading the way. I tell you, I don't want to say anything yet. Clips Kerry's catching Ads Lucas. Clips Kerry, the man who, when I spoke to him before the start of the season, said I'd be happy with a podium. He's corner by corner. He's closing the gap to the Alpine. This isn't over. JP's all over the road. What's going on there with JP? Jiri's going to get a podium as it stands. He's up to P3. I think JP's disconnected. I think that's what's gone on there. Or has he got a broken front wing? Oh, no. Joe's trying to... Oh, that's all a bit of a mess now. I'm sure the stewards are going to have a field day with all of this. Look at the gap at the front. We're going to ignore that. Look at the gap here. Ads Lucas, final lap of the race. Clips Kerry has got an opportunity. He's got the battery, he's got the slipstream, the Red Bull. Can it take a race win? Can Clips Kerry go through this side by side at turn one? He's later on the brakes. He's in the lead. He's got the lead. Can he hold on? Oh my God, have you ever seen a finale to a race like this?
You see the red light there on the Red Bull. He's trying to save battery for the final straight.
He's got the move done.
1 and 3.
Lucas and Ivan Belov, the two championship protagonists, are side by side at turn 2. Lucas around the outside. Little bit of contact made, but Lucas goes back in front, and Clips Kiri is roaring away to a first race victory. Have you ever seen a finale like this? Like, the two Alpines are second and third. What's going on? Joe's fourth, Lucas is fifth, Ivan sixth. Forget everybody else. It's absolute carnage. Vasek's got no front wing as he goes round turn 5. We didn't even see that. Oh, wow. 2 corners to go. I want to bring it home for Clips Kiri. This has been the most unlikely of race victories. But the Red Bull of Clips Kiri is going to take not just a win, a first win for Clips Kiri. Well done to Clips. Adds Lucas holds on for second place. What a strategy call that was. And Kiri recovers to a podium. Everybody else will be the angriest people on the grid, but Clips Kiri will not give a hoot about that. What a race. 1 hour delay was totally and utterly worth it. Ladies and gentlemen, that wow, just take a moment, have a deep breath. Xerox's headset has sadly just died. It made it to the end of the race, but we won't be able to have a chat with anybody. Oh, wow. What have we just witnessed here at Invictus Racing League? That was utterly chaos. I think people are going to need to have a lie down in a dark room about that, because that was just a phenomenal end to this race. Maybe not the cleanest we've ever seen, for sure, but my, oh my, they will not care a jot the podium finishes at all. Maybe Jiri might care a little bit more, because he could have won that race. So let's have a look at these final results. We say final, there could be some more shenanigans to go on post-race. Clips Kiri, ladies and gentlemen, is your race winner with fastest lap as well. Wow, Clips Kiri, race victory, well done to him. Ad Lucas in second place. That gamble paid off in the end for the Alpine. Jiri in third. Joe will be disappointed with fourth. Lucas, I suspect he may not finish there for fifth place because of the contact he made with the McLaren in the final couple of laps. Ivan in 6th position, JP9 in 7th, Vasek in 8th position, Ruddo 9th. Looking at the rest of the drivers, Kent retired, Eero Zolf retired, Kerr retired, LDR Gamer and Edmund Cerny, Edas Manek as he's known, also retiring from the session in that first corner, first lap instant. Wow, we have had a race like you have never seen, a conclusion like that in Invictus Racing League. That was one of the most incredible battles across the field I think we have ever seen. We've got a couple of drivers joining us in the chat. We currently have our race winner and our P2 finisher, which we will have a chat with those in a second. And we'll just, I know that Jiri is on Steam, so perhaps we're not going to get the chance to speak to him. So obviously Xerox's headset has died, so we will talk to our race winner, which is Clips. I mean, Clips, can you hear me first of all?
Yes, I can hear you. Jesus Christ.
Good stuff. We can hear. I just wanted to make sure we got you on the stream. 3 laps ago, or about 4.5 minutes ago, you were sat not fighting for the race victory, and yet here you are at the end of all. You must be absolutely ecstatic at that.
Well, I definitely had the heart pounding in the last 2 laps, say that for a fact.
I mean, even before the safety car came out, I picked up on the fact that you'd made a pit stop when you were in 9th or 10th place for a new set of softs. when the safety car came out, what was going through your head? Did you think maybe make a place or two up, or did you just think, see what happens?
I was hoping for at least maybe a sixth. That was the maximum I was expecting. But when going through the chicane, I saw the car in your head. It's like, hang on a minute. I could go for more, right?
How did you pick your way through that traffic? Because we were on board with Lucas Blaha and co and just saw them flying off into the grass. How did you navigate all that? Because did it just part the sea, or did you pick a way through?
It actually basically just parted away. So I braked a bit more and I saw two of them go off. So I slowed down a bit further and then I saw a gap in between the cars going off and then the back of, I'm pretty sure it was Ivan or Rodo. So I saw the back of them, so I just thought, go through the gap, and luckily it turned out over.
I mean, we spoke at the start of the season, didn't we? And I mentioned it in the stream that you were hoping for some top 6 finishes and maybe a couple of podiums if you get a chance. I mean, you've surpassed that now. You've got a race victory as the chance came to you. You grabbed it. So how was the hunt in the last lap for you and the race win? Because you were about 2 seconds back from Ads Lucas. Did you feel like you could catch him, or was it just a case of, oh my god, this is happening, let's just do it?
Well, I realised when Lucas didn't pit under the safety car, so I knew he would have been on all the softs. So because I boxed, so I would have had fresher ones. So I thought it might be a bit of a stretch, but then as soon as I saw the gap coming together, it's like, hang on a minute, actually, there's actually more of a chance than I thought.
I mean, it's just been one of those absolutely chaotic finales to a race, the most chaotic finale to a Invictus Racing League race that I've ever seen and commentated on. But well done, congratulations on the race victory. It's a wonderful moment to see you up there on the top step, and I'm sure you're delighted.
I'm more than delighted, mate.
Ah, brilliant, well done, mate. And we'll move over to our second place finisher, Ads Lucas. Can you hear me?
Hello, I can hear you.
Good stuff. I mean, what a gamble from you to try and pull something out of the bag. I mean, obviously you're going to be a little bit conflicted in terms of emotions, how it finished up, but how do you feel? Second place after that must be a win in some cases.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy because all season I've been hunting for a podium, and I came close in sort of Silverstone. I don't know if I got it in the end because of penalties, but I wasn't.
You did because of penalties, yeah.
And then so I was in, I think, 6th place, or no, actually 8th place, I think, when the safety car came out, and I knew everyone was going to box, and I knew if I did, I would just sort of hold position and sort of just be hoping that someone up front would make a mistake. So I just sort of stay out. Luckily just came out in the lead behind the safety car, and then I don't really know what happened, but I knew I think it was Joe or Ken and Lucas or someone else was right behind me on the restart, but then I looked back and there was like a pile up, so I need to see the replays of what actually happened, but then I sort of couldn't really believe what had happened.
You are, from that incident, you are completely absolved of responsibility, because I'll tell you what happened, because we were on board. Lucas did an Alonso versus Schumacher around the outside of turn 5, went past him, but ended up on the grass, and then came back on the track, and the two went into one at the chicane, and they both went round.
Oh, God.
So it was a matter of chaos, but what I said this on the stream, you're always the person who is willing to try and do a different strategy. And tonight, it's paid off for you. You know, if you look back at Monaco, I know you went out of the race there, but, you know, Monaco, you did something different. Silverstone, you should have got a podium. You got it in the end, but you weren't, you know, on the... I mean, what is it? Why do you try and do something different compared to everybody else? Is it because you're looking for a slight edge, or is it maybe just pace-wise you're more comfortable doing something different?
Yeah, I think it's more to try and give myself an edge, just because I know a lot of the guys sort of ahead of me. I think I'm I don't know, I don't want to put myself down, but a comfortable sort of mid-pack driver in this league, and a lot of the guys up front are bloody rapid. So trying sort of different things, different strategies has almost paid off in the past, and I just keep going, and luckily today it did pay off in the end.
Yeah, I mean, you've got that on the step podium where we can have a chat interview wise, which is, I mean, this helps a lot for your drivers' championship as well, because you were, before going into this race, if I remember correctly, I think you were in 5th place at the moment. You were just a few points ahead of Kerr. Yeah, and you were right in the thick of it. So you'll have gained some big points on Ruddo and JP. I mean, whether you were ever targeting 3rd place, I don't know, but I'm going to assume, let's be optimistic and let's say you can.
Yeah, let's go with that.
I mean, did you think that when all that chaos kicked off behind, did you think you could hold Clips behind, or was it a case of battery was running low and you just thought you're going to have one shot at defending?
For about 5 or 6 corners, I thought I could do it, and then when I saw Clips was in 2nd, I knew he'd pit just before, and so then I don't know. As soon as I realised he didn't have any damage from the incident, I knew it was going to be really hard. And then within a second in the last corner, I knew he had it, and then tried to switch back, but it just wasn't going to happen.
Yeah. Well, in any case, I'm delighted that you got a podium. It's been coming all season, and it's happened. It's happened in the most chaotic of circumstances, but at the end of the day, you took advantage of a situation that no one else thought to gamble on. So, well done, Ad Lucas, on that 2nd place. Well done, mate.
Thank you.
So, just having a quick run through. I was hoping to get some comments from Jiri, otherwise known as Claimer, but unfortunately, he hasn't jumped in and provided any comments, sadly. So, not much we can do there with that. But what I would like to say is, what a race. What a chaotic ending to that Grand Prix. I'm sure it's going to be one that will be talked about for quite a long time, actually, because of the amount of carnage that went on in those last 3 laps. But the 3 drivers who were on the podium took full advantage of the chaos. Well done to Clips and Lucas, who joined me in the commentary area this evening. Congratulations for a race win, first race win of the season, and first on track podium for Ads Lucas this season. Congratulations to the 2 of them. But in terms of the rest of the week, we've still got 2 more races to come at the Hungary Ring. We have Tier 1 tomorrow, and then RP, the Realistic Performance League. So do check those out, everybody. They'll be streaming around here. Only 2 more rounds to go remaining at the back end of this championship. Now, next week, we'll be off to Mexico in the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez circuit in Mexico City. What a classic circuit that is, and where a lot of championships could be decided. Tier 3 will more than likely be decided in next week, as will Tier 2. Lucas still has a big gap over Ivan, but there's plenty still yet to play for. Who knows whether it'll go to the final round at Brazil and Interlagos, we shall see. But if you are watching, do make sure you put a like in the stream. If you haven't subscribed to Invictus Racing League already, please ensure that you have done. It means a lot in terms of the visibility and promotion for the channel. But I've been Jack TM53, your commentator for this evening. Thank you to Xerox, who's unfortunately not here to say goodbye. But wherever you might be in the big wide world, have a good one, and see you next week.